I think it's interesting. As a podcast host, I can tell you a lot of these podcast hosts suck. I guarantee you their AI will be better than 50% of podcast hosts in under 3 years. And that's not a really reflection of their ability at Wondercraft AI or AI. That's just a function of how bad some podcast hosts are.
Okay, so let's go to this next one. So I'm going to open this one up. This is really cool. Wondercraft.ai.
Okay, Wondercraft.ai.
And it basically can create a podcast from a bulleted set of points. And so in this example, I said, let's do the Twist Weekly AI. What is the podcast about? It's the AI, a weekly AI podcast discussing and showing the latest in AI products. I took 3 sections from the Notion that we normally use here. So we talked about OpenAI app, Perplexity, which we haven't got to yet here, and then Apple bans ChatGPT. And you
put some links in there too to the source
I put the
material.
links in there. Yep, correct. And it, you kind of hit it off, and then it's going to generate here. We don't have to generate it because it's already generated. So here we go. So I'm going to play this now. Make sure the audio comes out. So it's generated. Here's the transcript it generated. Okay. So all we gave it was a title, topics, and some links. And I'm just going to play the little intro here, and we'll get started. So ready?
Corny music.
Welcome to Twist Weekly AI, the podcast that keeps you up to date on the latest developments in AI. Join us every week as we discuss and showcase the newest AI products. Don't miss out on any of the exciting breakthroughs in this rapidly evolving field.
Okay.
Insufferable. That voice is insufferable. So and now she's going to ask for likes and subscribes. Oh.
But hear me out here. It gives you an option to use your own voice when you're doing this. Yeah. And
I can retire.
So, yeah. And so as I was going through the process here, you'll see, one of the sections was to choose your own voice, and you can do a lot of editing here. You can do a speaker. You can. It's got a lot of choices here. You can add your own voice.
Kevin, Julia. So it has all these different voices.
And it's also add your own voice and add your own music, which I didn't do. I just kind of ran through this relatively quickly. So you can go through this process, and you can basically add your own voice. Now, who's going to use this? Well, if you're a one-man show or one-woman show, and you're trying to one-person show. That's probably more accurate saying it.
Everybody.
Yes. One-person show, and you're trying to put something together, and you don't have the great resources that Twist does. And you basically do your research, you find things that are interesting, you prop it up here, and you can basically get a podcast going, quickly, and you can use that as maybe not your primary. So what I've seen people start to do is people that are publishing newsletters who are already doing the work are using this to create a podcast just as another media for them. And you can imagine if you're an enterprise, you got something interesting you want to talk about, so you can do that in there. So I'll pause there because this one probably strikes closer to home for you guys. So I'll let you react.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, like many things, you want the human's actual reaction. We talked about Rick Rubin and his reaction to stuff and his taste. So what this doesn't have is taste. It doesn't have comedic impact. It doesn't have the surprise, the banter that you and I would have. Now, how much of people tuning into this is for the banter and the personality? I would argue significant. How much of is it for the news value and the information? Well, podcasts are entertainment, therefore, and information, right? So This Week in Startups All In are giving you information and they're entertaining you. It's going to be very hard for this to be entertaining, authentic, and informative. But I could see this working really well if it was just reading you stock quotes, headlines, etc. So for something, but if I listened to it and I didn't know, and then I found out, I would feel dirty. I would feel like I'd been tricked. So maybe that's just a short-term thing. Maybe an AI personality is the future, and there'll be some version where this Joe Rogan, and we talked about this before, if I could have, I don't know, I'm trying to pick somebody who's no longer with us, Johnny Carson, and I could have Johnny Carson interview Jesus Christ, or Johnny Carson interview, I don't know, somebody who's died recently who's an incredible artist, but,
Howard Stern, live on forever.
Right, or Biggie Smalls, so now you've got Johnny Carson interviewing, Biggie Smalls. It's like, well, that's fascinating. So there are kind of permutations here that you can't get.
Yep.
But I do wonder how soon it will be before these are witty and entertaining. Can an AI entertain you? And do you authentically want to be entertained by an AI? Is I think where we're going to get to. So if the AI made you laugh, there's a level of, can it provide information that's accurate? And we all agree it's on the road to being accurate, right? But it's still delusional sometimes, and hallucinations and, whatever. So, and then the next step is, can it actually be entertaining, and can you bond with the personality? And I think that's what the movie Her was about, is can you cross that uncanny valley in which you could fall in love with, and listen, people fall in love with podcast hosts. They love listening to the show. They use that word love. Could you fall in love with this artificial podcast host? Of course you could. And so will that happen? Of course. And will we be competing against, I don't know, of the top 100 in 10 years, will 5 or 10 of them be virtual? Sure. Why not? Completely possible. I actually don't feel, I feel like there's an artist out there who can there'll be an auto GPT, or what do they call it? Baby GPT?
Auto baby, there's a few of them now, right?
Yeah. Now let's make it a baby auto GPT, where we unleash this thing on the world, and we just say, go find interesting people and then create a fake interview with them. And could that be interesting? Yeah, it could. And could you make a custom interview? So I wanted to talk to this person about the topics you're interested in. So, I mean, the mind kind of can go to weird places. You could have, if I really love Johnny Carson as an interviewer, and he, or Howard Stern, he retired, could I have Howard Stern having an absurdist interview with Dolly, or I don't know, pick an actor who's no longer with us. And that could be fascinating, and sure, why not?
This is a good segue to the last thing I just wanted to show quickly, and then let's come back on it.
So the startup that's building this Wondercraft AI, Wondercraft.ai, I think is interesting. As a podcast host, I can tell you, a lot of these podcast hosts suck. I guarantee you their AI will be better than 50% of podcast hosts in under 3 years. And that's not a really reflection of their ability at Wondercraft AI or AI. That's just a function of how bad some podcast hosts are.
Yeah, and the sheer number that are showing up. So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting. Maybe
what do you think? I didn't get your reaction there. I gave my whole analysis there. Do you think I'm being objective, or do you think I'm being precious because I'm a podcaster?
I think you are, but I want to tie it to this last demo. Then we'll close out on the discussion.
You think I'm being precious?
A little bit.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Fair enough.
Because let's a generative AI where someone can take the style, and we've seen that in the music ones that we've seen, like the AI Drake, where the underlying music and the tempo and the beat is done by someone else, and then the voice is replaced. Now, if those two things can sort of come together, where someone can understand the style of JCal, and then you're willing to do the revenue share and say, hey, I would really like JCal to be my world's greatest moderator of my podcast. Mm-hmm. And, he doesn't have the time to do it, but he's willing to do it through sort of what you talked about, like through his voice. He's made it available through a platform that he has, and it understands all the inflections, and it has like a way of coming up with unique and interesting questions. I think that would be really great. I think that would be sort of, and I feel like we'll get there sooner than 3 years, where someone will take all the nuances that you've put together in the hundreds of episodes. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be thousands of episodes that you have.
1,700 episodes.
1,700 episodes. Yeah. And it can come up with sort of all the uniqueness of JCal as a moderator.
Love it.
And that's what, we'd love to see that. If you're doing something like that, we'd love to demo that.
Tell me what you think about this Harrison Ford clip, and then me being precious about it. Yeah. Like, do you actually think that these things will replace podcasters? I said, like, I could see in 3 years, it would be these folks at Wondercraft AI or another, or even like a generic model, or you could roll your own, would be able to make a host that's better than 50% of hosts. But I don't think they're going to ever replace the top 25% or top 10%. I think if you're in the top 10%, you're a virtuoso. You're just so good at it that you're not going to be replaced. But maybe there'll be an AI that could crack into the top 10, but I don't think you replace the top 10%. What do you think?
Yeah, I sort of think of content as this like pyramid, and at the top, it's like you said, it's the folks that have really, tuned into the craft and put the work in. And then sort of, at the bottom of the pyramid, you have everything else. I think there'll be a lot more at the bottom, But I do think we'll see something crack into maybe not the top of the pyramid, but just below that, where we're comfortable. The cost base is more affordable for someone that wants to listen to it. And so I don't think you're being precious, but I think I really like what you said earlier. You should embrace this, and you should kind of lead the charge and say, hey, let's create, the world's greatest moderator as an AI for podcasting that can be there to moderate your pods. If you kind of led that as a charge, I think then then you're not being precious about it.
I give permission right now. Somebody can train an AI and make me as the world's greatest moderator, and you can make the JCal AI. Totally cool with it. And as an experiment, non-commercial experiment, whatever, we'll see where it goes. And people can then create me interviewing Jesus Christ. I mean, I think that's what that's the benchmark. You got to have me interviewing Jesus H. Christ. Or who would be another historical figure?
Well, I mean, I don't think the Jesus Christ is maybe a bit more difficult, but
because you don't have video of Jesus Christ.
You doing Steve Jobs? There's a great video of you and Steve Jobs.
There's a great video of me and Steve Jobs interacting.
Right?
Yeah, do me interviewing Steve on the program.
Like you and Jesus.
No. Well, that's kind of like Steve Jobs is tech Jesus. So have me interviewing this. Okay, whoever makes the best version of this, I will give a ticket. A VIP ticket. I'll give Sunny's VIP ticket to All In Summit. If somebody can create, how many minutes? 10 minutes or more?
Yeah, 10.
10 minutes or more. Whoever creates the best JCal interviewing Steve Jobs, but it has to be now. And it has to hit on current events. So he has to talk
about how bad Siri is.
Yeah, him freaking out about Siri, me telling him, like me criticizing Siri, it's got to be one of the themes. Talking about, maybe he could talk about AI and what he thinks the future of it is. Maybe he could talk about, what would be a current affairs topic? Trump, him talking about Trump. We never got to hear his take on Trump. China, maybe? Talk about China, the relationship with China. I don't know. People don't care about his politics stuff. It was not his thing. What's a tech?
They want tech. I think it's tech.
Talking about VR and AR.
Yes.
Me interviewing him at the launch of the augmented reality. That's the scenario. Okay, so there's a $7,500 VIP ticket at stake here. There's a bunch of AI people are racing to make JCal interviewing Steve Jobs on the launch of the AR glasses. And you just throw the AR glasses in there because there's people who have them. Does it have to have video too of us? I think it does, right? Has to be some video.
Bonus points.
Bonus points for some video.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the All In podcast. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis. Today we are joined by the legendary Steve Jobs. Steve, with the upcoming reveal of Apple's AR/VR mixed reality headset at WWDC 2023, the rumored reservations within the design team, and the projected limited shipping, it seems like Apple is facing some challenges. Can you tell us more about the journey towards this product's creation and what the future holds?
Thanks for having me, Jason. It's true that we're on the verge of revealing our VR/AR headset. In a company as large as Apple, it's common to have a variety of opinions and perspectives, but we're confident in the product we're creating. We believe in innovation and iteration, and this product is no exception. As for the projected shipping numbers, Apple has always prioritized quality over quantity. We've never been about creating the most products, but the best. The journey to this moment has been filled with challenges, but each one has pushed us to create a better product.
Thanks for your insight, Steve. There's also been talk about the VR/AR headset being a precursor to the Apple Glass, which is reportedly facing technical challenges of its own. Can you shed some light on this? Also, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, Siri. How does Apple plan to keep up with the competition in the AI text-to-speech arena?
You're right, Jason. The VR/AR headset is part of our larger vision for the future, which includes Apple Glass. We're committed to providing the best experience to our customers, and if that means facing a few hurdles along the way, then so be it. As for Siri, she has been a key player in our ecosystem and continues to evolve. We're always exploring new technologies and ways to enhance our users' experience. The world of technology is always advancing, and we're eager to adapt and grow with it.
Well said, Steve. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jason. It's been a pleasure.